Hi, I'm Nickhil Jakatdar. I'm founder and CEO of VUClip.
Nikhil, thank you so much for joining us. VUClip's just launched in India. What's the response been like?
It's been amazing. And it's not surprising that it's amazing simply because the Indian consumer really wants to watch video. And we are one of many who are offering that. There is a demand, and that demand is showing as soon as we launched. The amount of consumers who came to the service, downloaded the app, watched the content, the amount of engagement has all been amazing.
Why would you think that this was the right time for you to have launched it in India?
So, the interesting thing is we have been in this market for about 8 years. And so far we had always been offering a browser-based short form content offering because we didn't think that the networks, the devices were ready for a long form content app-based approach. But obviously things have been changing pretty rapidly. The whole smartphone penetration, mobile networks are getting better, and so we felt like this was the right time. All our data seemed to indicate this is the right time to go launch with our more high-end offering.
Are you happy with the kind of access that people have to internet?
In terms of the speeds, they're not great. But the thing is, again, having been over here for 8 years, right, we have seen it improve, and it's constantly improving. So is it where we would like it to be? No. But is it constantly improving? Absolutely. The devices are also getting better, and so overall the experience of video is getting better. It's again not where it needs to be, but I'm confident that over the next few years it'll keep getting better. But that is not enough. We are going to also have to make innovations on our side to ensure that we just can't take a US offering and say it'll work here. It has to be adapted to the market. That's what we believe we are good at, and that's why we think we can get around the challenges faced by the ecosystem.
Two ways in which you think OTT players will necessarily adapt to the Indian market, or two areas where you see them necessarily adapting.
So I think the first one is the fact that you have to have a really good technology platform to deal with the varying network conditions. That is a reality. One can hope, hey, it'll all change and it'll all get amazingly good. It's not going to change overnight. It's going to take time. So how do you, between now and then, offer a great experience? So your technology platform needs to really be solid to deal with the variability in the networks. That's one thing that you can't take a outside, developed market solution and offer it here. So that's one change. Second change is even in the business model, right? For example, Netflix has come into this market with exactly the same pricing as they have in the US. And I think that will work pretty well for the top 5% of the population. But for the mass market, how many can afford to pay 500 to 800 rupees? That's number one. Second aspect of that is even in a market like India, consumers love free. And if you say that you have to pay from day one, people are like going to run to the next free site. And so you have to come up with an interesting business model, whether it's a freemium business model or there may be other innovations that have not been thought of. But there has to be some adaptation of the business model for a market like India, which is pretty diverse.
So most OTT players, particularly those of those that are launched by broadcast companies and stuff like that, are adopting the freemium model. What kind of a price point do you think is right, or seems optimum for the Indian consumer?
See, I think this is something that's evolving, but the general sense I have is, based on the experience we've seen so far, more than the price point, which obviously is important, is how you price it. So let me explain what I mean by that. I can price the thing for 100 rupees a month, right? But if I want to really make that service available to all consumers in the market, in this market, most people don't have credit cards. 95% of them are prepaid users. For most prepaid users, they don't have more than 20 rupees on their prepaid card. So even if they want to pay, they can't afford it. They don't have it on their prepaid card. So instead of offering 100 rupees a month, what if you offered a daily subscription for 3 rupees a day? Effectively, you're still asking for about the same money. But if you do it that way, you're making it a lot more consumer friendly in these markets. And then a consumer might still end up paying 90 rupees or 100 rupees, but they'll do it in a way that they don't feel like they're tied down with a big 100 rupee thing around their neck.
But that still doesn't solve the problem of how do you pay.
And that comes to the second problem, which is something that we have actually been addressing for the last 6 years. See, credit cards are not there. It's never going to be 100% penetration. If it goes past 10%, it will be a pretty big deal. Payment wallets are coming up, but it's still coming up. It's not like you can get to 800 million subscribers today, which leaves only one approach, which is mobile operator billing. They already have the consumer, because the consumer already has a relationship with them through their prepaid cards. If they already have that relationship, they can use that same money also to pay for something like this. And so what we have done, because we noticed that this is an important thing, is we have integrated into the billing pipes of mobile operators across 12 countries, so that when a consumer wants to pay, they just press pay, and just like they press pay for their mobile voice call, they press pay for this and it gets charged in the exact same way. So we're not asking them to change their behavior, and we get access to 800 million subscribers on day one.
What is the big change that you see in the Indian market as far as content distribution is concerned?
So, I think you referred to the fact that today there are broadcasters who have their apps. There are content studios who have their apps. There are people like us who are content aggregators who have their apps, and everybody has their apps. And today, from what I understand, there are about 38 video OTT providers in India. There is a very, very, very low probability that a consumer is going to download 38 different apps, right? So the end result, whether it takes 12 months or 18 or 24 months to get there, is a consumer will probably end up having 2-3 apps, right? So what happens to all those other people who had apps, who had content? They will then start thinking more seriously about distributing their content through other distribution channels, whether it's a Netflix, whether it's us if we are one of the last men standing. But distribution is going to be a critical part, because I might have the best content, but if I can't get it out there in front of enough subscribers, what value am I creating? And so content is critical, but going together with a distribution channel that 38 providers are not going to have is going to be critical.
Rate your FICCI Frames experience on a scale of 1 to 10. This is the first time?
This is my first time, and this is my first day here, but whatever I've seen so far, high quality of conversations, the right audience is here, all the people you'd want to meet are all in one place, and overall very well organized. So 10 on 10.